Alright, so what's up, folks? All you people fucking streaming on the internet. I got some for you motherfuckers here, man. We all know what the fuck happened recently with everything that's about fucking webcams and whatnot. And, you know, them out there like fucking Logitech pretending that they can come up with a good fucking product and such, and then there's many problems like this fucking autofocus and whatnot. So right now I'm on a Logitech C922X, which was the first one that was said to be the stream cam, and it was because it is 1080p 60 frames per second, right? That's what makes it a fucking stream cam, right? 1080p 60 frames per second. That's what makes a stream actually good and decent and stable. So C920, Logitech C920 was the best of all, but it's 30 frames per second when you put it full HD 1080p. So now let's take a look at the one they said to be the best cam of all time. The Logitech Brio, right? The best cam of all time. That's what it says, right? Because you know what? 4K 30 frames per second. Who the fuck is looking at 4K streams anyway, or whatsoever? I mean, every time you try to look at something 4K on a big ass 4K fucking TV or whatsoever, well, fucking hey, it makes all your hardware is fucking rush and run and overheat and stuff. So it might be something real fucking interesting if you want to fucking risk that shit, right? And you gotta be in full screen to see the difference between 1080 and 4K. So you know what? In the end, 60 frames per second is actually something way more attractive than just more resolution. So what, you can see like every little fucking hair that's grown back or pubes or whatsoever. I mean, the fucking Logitech Brio, here's one of the main issues. You see that if I just move my hand out, everything kind of gets darker around it. It's like, hey, if I lift my shirt up or whatnot, I mean, anything else is gonna like darken. See that? Like how everything gets brighter and darkens and stuff, and it doesn't make any sense, because like right now I see I'm trying to counter these things with having an LED white light that's fucking lighting up a blue tinted glass in the opposite direction. And to have some sort of direct light, I had to use this in a like lila color, and makes it kind of neutral, harmonizes with everything. And if you don't think so, you just have to mess around with the saturation, of course, and a white balance. And that's the things that actually a Logitech Brio really suck at it. Cause whatever the fuck you do, I mean, as far as the autofocus sucks on most of the Logitech product, especially on the Brio. The Logitech Stream Cam, even worse whatsoever. I mean, you don't even have that need to have this sort of lighting to have a problem with the pinkish toniest skin, even if you're black. So that's fucked up and whack. So let's get there and just simply say that I turned my eyes on this cam here, which is the Nexigo n660p. So this motherfucker here is actually focused on the 1080p 60 frames per second to make it a stream cam. So for that, we're gonna unbox that little motherfucker and see how shit goes. And I'm totally not prepared for this, by the way, to know if I'm gonna be able to actually adjust the settings straight from the OBS or whatnot. So we're gonna take a look at this right now. So if you want to take a quick look at the difference right now with similar settings between the two cams I'm using, the C922X from Logitech and the Logitech Brio, next to one another, let's just look at this real quick here. So if I step aside right here, see how this here and whatnot. So I turned off the autofocus on the Brio. So if I turn on the two lightings here And let's see if I stay like this and I say goodbye to this nice little lighting here, right? See how shit goes. Kind of reduce the resolution, let's say, and you can see that, yeah, if I'm trying to show skin details and whatnot and whatsoever and anything, if I want to do a close-up, I'm gonna shoot a Triforce right in your face, okay? If I try to do that, see, well, if I'm getting too close to you, see what happens? It gets darker instead of brighter, which is completely fucking stupid. As much as when I do this shit here, though, on the C922X, see, it doesn't go mess around with the lighting and such. If you want to do a close-up of something, you're gonna get a better result. Compared to the Brio, where if I want to show something in close-up, everything gets darker and shit, and the autofocus actually sucks dick. So let's forget about the Brio for $250 compared to the C922X. That was $100. Well, fuck this shit. The Brio, you're just going down, man. I'm throwing you in the fucking recycle bin. I'm sending you to someone that's still using a integrated webcam to stream. Because you know what? I'm sick of you, motherfucker. I'm sick of you. So let's not use the Brio. All right, fuck this shit. Let's keep it real, folks. All right, so now that we're keeping it real, we're gonna open up this new product. So once again, if I shoot a little close up here of the specs, right? Basically, all it says that's really crucial and decent, necessary to know about is the resolution, max resolution, 1080p. Maximum frame per sec, 60. It's really fucking awesome for streaming. The autofocus, we're gonna see about it. And if the autofocus sucks, well, you know what? You can always just set it straight in between to be sure that when you're in a position, it doesn't fuck the details. And if you want to show something close, well, you actually get to have enough detail to be, you know, making people able to read what's on it. You know, if you have your civil rights tattooed on your ass, like me, well, that's gonna be useful. And the field of view, 90 degrees. Well, that's pretty wide enough. I mean, hey, if you want to lay on your bed or something, and you know, be instead of just vertically be standing up, that's probably a good thing, but it's not good for everyone, you know. So, and okay, the sensor, the video format, the Y2 and the MJPEG. Often it's gonna depend on what kind of computer you're using. Let's say, like the Brio, most of the time I set it at Y2, and the C922X I set it at MJPEG. Because it's gonna actually anyway, you're gonna see the difference, and if you go too down into the details, you're gonna not know what the fuck I'm talking about and not give a fuck about it. So let's keep it fucking crucial, necessary. Let's unbox that piece of motherfucking unknown technology that I'm just taking a leap in the unknown, trying something just cause I've been deceived by fucking Logitech. More than enough for me to say goodbye. So here, one thing we're gonna notice that's pretty fucking interesting is the length of the fucking USB cable is actually 5 fucking feet, motherfuckers. You see that? That gives you a lot of possibilities. So if you're not on a laptop, you have a desktop or whatsoever, or you want to fucking take that shit around to show it to people, you know, show around, show your house and whatnot, you don't really need an extension unless you want to take that shit to the bathroom and do whatever the fuck it is you want to do there. It's none of my business. But if you want to make it someone else's business, well, you can always add the regular cable to an extension. So here we've got the product itself. Alright, you see that? Doesn't seem so bad. So basically what it says on it is the basic and crucial specs. And you see right away they're giving away, written it on it. That is 1080p, fucking autofocus sucking back always. Logitech, fuck you, man. I'm ditching you. So, looks like we're gonna have to, you know, convince this piece of shit to be decent. There we go. 1080p 60 frames per second. Autofocus right there. That's what you need to know. You got a privacy shutter here and stuff for all the people that are stalking you enough to want to see you even when you're not aware of it. And they kind of dig it. So if you don't dig it, well, whoop, they don't give a shit about it no more. But they're still going to be using your microphone as well. So you know what? In the end, it doesn't matter. Alright? So, you've got the regular, which is, this seems kind of a good thing, because actually, you see that? To mount it up to another sort of mounting, like a tripod or whatsoever. It's see-through, so it means that even if you have to screw it further in there or whatsoever, it won't be a stopper to fuck shit up and get your little piece here to actually be popped out of it, just because you want it to tighten it a bit more. And what makes it cool as well, like Logitech does not do, is this thing goes 360 motion, and it goes up and down as well. So this makes it already better than the Logitech, okay? I'm not trying to bring Logitech down. They're doing that shit on their own pretty good already. They made sure that, yeah, that's right. You know what? Yeah, the stream cam was so shitty and the brio was shitty, so they made the stream cam and made things less shitty. They realized the C920 was better. So they brought the fucking C920 back. Give it a different name, the C920X Pro, just to give you a 3 months free subscription to XSplit for streamers, but it ain't a stream cam if it ain't able to reach 60 frames per second. And in the end, they just brought back the same shit and they just doubled the price up because of fucking COVID bullshit and the way they failed with the brio and the stream cam. They wanted to still make it possible because most people turned back to the C920 and they were losing profit and, you know, making a fool of themselves. So they brought back the fucking C920 and he just named it C920X Pro, which is not better than it was. But try to find the old school C920 nowadays on the market. They got it. They took it everywhere. It's just gone. It's just gone. It's a marketing fucking scam. And if a company has to go that far, it means that since the beginning, well, they were crooks. So they can go fuck themselves! That being said, let's give it a try to some other company that is a bit more underground and unknown that are focusing on giving you possibility to decide between different models, and they're actually putting their hopes on the specs and whatnot. So let's give it a shot at this, see what we get instead of that fucking brio bullshit. So, I'll tell you what, the way I glitch my shit here is I put a fucking steel plate on here and a magnetic plating on the counter here, so that I can, like, you know, swivel from right to left, left to right. And on this one, I don't have much, and there's no rubber pad underneath though, so if it's on a lean surface, there's no much grip. But I'm gonna use a mouse pad. Make sure that thing doesn't flip around and slide and whatnot. So let's plug it in the back of that computer. Let's do that, shall we? I might have to head back in the kitchen, know what I'm doing, so I'll be right back. If I don't kill myself. I just fucking knocked on the floor. So don't drink and try to do a fucking demo unless you got good rest to, you know, soften your fall. So, as I step back up, so I'm plugging this shit in, alright, now I'm trying not to slide down that again. Alright, we're back, motherfuckers, and I'm still alive. So, let's give it a shot, alright? So this is plugged in, let's try to see if it detects it, alright? Let's get to it. Whew. Oh, device is ready. Nexigo n660p FHD webcam is set up and ready to go. That's a notification that we just got on the screen. So, we might want to take a look at this, right? Let's take a look at this. Indeed it is. Already set up and all and whatnot. So, let's add a video capture device. And let's call it the next. Period, just next, because you know what? The brio is my ex. And here it is. Here it is. Ooh, the brightness of this thing. Shit. Okay, so we've got it right here. We've got a smooth blue light and such. And you see how things are kind of looking too crispy and highlighted? We're gonna fix that right away, because that must be the sharpness. Let's go into settings right here. It says default setting. No, let's go custom. Okay, so resolution. We're gonna select, of course, the 1920 1080p. Let's get it on a frame per second. Let's get it at 60. All right, 60 fucking frames per second. I'm moving fast, too fast for love. Movements are fluid. The color's kind of weird yet, but we're gonna fix that. We're gonna play with it. Okay, let's play with it. Let's play a game with it. You see, yeah, my eyes are blue, you know, and don't worry, this mustache doesn't mean shit because his eyes weren't blue. So cheers to that, and we're gonna work on this shit. I'm gonna show you how quick it is and make it look better than the fucking Brio. Okay, so here, video formats. Only MJPEG shows, and it doesn't matter. That's probably because I selected 60 frames per second. If I set it at highest frame per second though, the Y2 appears. Y2, it seems to be all fucked up and glitchy. Right away, you know what? Don't waste your time on that shit. Just stick to JPEG, okay? That's it. When it does that, don't try to push it, alright? So color space, I'll keep color range is so default or partial or full. I'm not sure I want to go mess around with that, okay? Because most of the shit I want to be actually messing around with are gonna be the regular cam settings, which I'm seeing right now and right here. So if I want to like show you a bit of both, all right, let's do this like that. Yeah, let's just do it. Okay, so the next cam is here. I'm gonna bring it up next to the other cams. Yup, right here. Okay, so if you want to see a little, okay, let's go to the video settings here. All right, the brightness actually right now is at 0, and that's something I find kind of interesting because it goes into the minus or the plus instead of being, you know, like 0 being 0 at all. 0 actually means that it's on the default brightness, which I actually right on the spot think it's pretty interesting. So the autofocus, all right. First of all, there's too much details, and that's the sharpness. Sharpness is at 40. Can you imagine if I go more than that? Let's take a look. Sharpness, see that? Right. So let's put it at 0. All right, 0. Let's put it at 0. And then the gamma. Oh, the gamma. Okay, the gamma. See, the gamma is gonna be a little bit like a contrast, which is interesting. So what's in between? Is it the regular 128? No, it's not. Okay, let's take it to 128 though. See what happens. It's too much light reflection, too much brightness, too much whatsoever. The contrast, it's not the same as the others. So where's the balance in this? It's gonna be something a bit different. So I'll press back on default once again. Okay, let's see what default is for them. Okay, so default means that the contrast at 34. The hue and the brightness. Okay, don't get the sharpness. Let's take the sharpness down a bit. It's too much. So you see that kind of skin reflection and all of that. There's a part of it that's because of the brightness. And there's another part of it that is actually from the contrast, and it seems like the gamma is gonna affect that shit too. So find a good balance in between. Okay, there's a bit more work to do in adjusts than on the regular logitech format. Okay, so here if I play with the white balance, most likely you're gonna want to find something that's more proper for your eyes, makes it seem a bit more real. Okay. And I'm messing around with this shit because it's the first time I have to do things. So on this one. So you see there's way more detail, let's say, and the lighting actually affects it more. We might want to take a bit less of that lighting, or maybe not, or whatnot. Let's do the regular lighting I was using then, alright? So we've got this. So the colors, you got way more colors than on the Logitech, of course. So it might take me more time than I'd like to admit to set it to be looking kind of decent. So okay, the gain. That's what I missed. Okay, the gain. You don't want to have too much of it. So you see how actually the colors are really more pronounced than on the Logitech. So here we're gonna deal with a lot of things that affect. So I'm gonna reduce the saturation, give me a chance with the coloring here, because it seems to really have a wide range of colors. And so I'm gonna keep it a bit darker. And already you see the colors, actually, the definition of things, and wow, this thing is really just, that's high resolution. That's really fucking, I mean, I put sharpness at the lowest, and you get to see pretty every fucking detail, how I am not looking like someone in a magazine. I kind of like it. It's the real deal. Okay, let's check out the autofocus for a little moment here. The autofocus on it, how decent is it? How convenient? It is. It is quite quick. Indeed. It is. Well, shit. You got me surprised there. Because right now it's just standing on its own. So if I'm trying to bring it, let's see, a bit looking more straight at me or whatnot. Let's give it a shot just like this. Try to see if I can put it in the middle of all the lighting and stuff. So the field of view, actually, yeah. Field of view is wide enough. If I go like this, I mean, you don't have to be too close to it. So if you want, let's compare just the autofocus, the coloring, let's say, the definition of things. Well, I definitely have to put the sharpness to the lowest, because if I go, this is sharp as fuck. Okay, let's keep it down. Saturation, there's the colors are intense. Colors are intense. I'm impressed so far. Okay, the low light compensation. That's what I forgot. Okay, main crucial thing, low light compensation. Fuck that shit. Okay, take that shit off. So okay, there you go. So now I can put the brightness to something more, a bit more like it. There we go. Low light compensation is gonna fuck shit up. Forever, always. Okay? If I tell you that right now, the gamma, actually, there's, if you want to see something in balance in between, I'd say, so yeah, it's gonna take a bit more time to get used to it and find that sweet spot. Okay, so if I do all I can right now to reach that sweet spot for y'all, the bad light count doesn't do much. Let's go around, give it more gain. Let's see, not cross the barrier here. A bit more coloring there. Now we're getting somewhere a bit more close to the real, actual. If we were face to face, let's say, you know. You can see I'm a bit sweating because, you know what, I wanted to make things really quickly and all, but at least you're seeing if you actually get the product directly and you're messing around with it. If you do the process just like I did, you know. So right here you see I'm getting what seems, if you see the how fluid shit is when I move and all, you want to see the difference between the camera that pretends it's fucking 60 frames per second and a camera that it does look like it. I just moving the real speed and it almost looks like the video is on fast forward, but it ain't. So you know what? I'm kind of wondering with the Logitech C922X if it's really 60 frames per second. And I'm not gonna go into that fancy fucking testing they do on their review, but I can show you if I turn this cam off and I go back to the C922X, and if I move and stuff, does it seem any different than 30 frames per second? That's what you're wondering. But if we go back to the other cam that certifies at 60 frames per second, and I start moving, you can see that this seems way more fucking fluid. So much that you thought that I put this video on fast forward. And you see the colors, the definition, you see how fluid this shit is. We don't got no fucking around with the brightness or whatnot. And if I show something closer, and you see the autofocus is actually quite fast. So fast that it seems like this video's on fast forward. Something you've never probably fucking seen before, right? So right there, if you take a look at all that shit, you know, you're seeing you're seeing if yourself with buy this cam and try to mess around with it and try to make it look better than a Logitech cam that you had for months and get really used to it and all of its settings. And right here, right now, I can tell you, I kind of think that it does look better, you know. And if we want to do a little final looking at it, okay, let's plug that fucking brio bullshit once again, and let's get two cams next to each other. So we've got the C920 and C922X. That's and the brio, okay. And if I make the saturation, let's say, make the colors stick out more, so we compare without trying to be you know, not real just and what's so not. Let's keep it neutral, so that the C922 and the brio, you know, we gave a bit more more saturation for the coloring and whatnot. So now we've got both next to each other, okay? And if I'm doing like the moves and all, see the difference? And if I add the third one, let's add the third one, okay? Shall we? Let's do this, okay? I'm gonna put that shit smaller here and keep what's necessary. Let's keep it small. Okay, let's keep it real here. And we're gonna add the other cam that I just got, the Nexigo n660p, add existing next, okay, and we're gonna put it at a size that is reasonable to show what's necessary to see. Okay, so right here, like this, and I'm gonna put it actually on the bottom, so it's not in priority. Okay, so if I do that, alright, and in fact, it's gonna be in priority somehow, because I'm trying to show the difference in between all of them, and this one's pretty, the one I wanna make it stick out. Okay, so here, all right, so above it's the nexigo. Bottom left, bottom left is the C922X, and bottom right, yeah, it's the fucking brio. So you get to see if I'm just doing the movement. All right, do you see the difference here? And they're all set at 60 frames per second, 1080p. Yet there's only one of them that it seems like the movement are pretty much rather fluid and not blurry, isn't it, right? And I didn't take time to mess around with all of this. So tell you what, you can make your own judgment, and I didn't mess around too much with that kind of shit. And if I turn on just a top light that I got earlier today, also I'm still testing the different tones and stuff, but if I add it, let's say, see the difference it does in the coloring and whatnot. And if I get a bit closer, if you want to see all, I always thought and considered that the fucking brio, let's say, is nothing to be considered an improvement at all. So make your own conclusion, but so far it didn't take more than that for me to think that that brio is definitely going to go back in a box, and that nexigo I'm gonna invest the effort and energy into actually making it more decent and save the settings for another day. You know what I mean? I'm gonna like save the settings, take a screenshot of it, so every time I plug it back, or if I have to do the settings every time I unplug and plug it, or shut the computer down or whatnot, well, actually I'm just gonna have to copy the result I came to. So tell you what, yeah, if you want to look it up, this thing, it seems like, you know, if I do a close up like that, once again, testing just the autofocus, put it right in your face, and if I do that with never mind the brio. The brio doesn't do shit. And just look at how everything gets darker if I'm trying to, you know how it affects all the lighting and whatnot. You see that nexigo thing? I put it on the side or whatnot. And it's gonna focus on it, not fuck around the brightness or whatnot. The brio whatsoever, if you want to do that. Like, see the lighting, how everything fucks up. Now it's C922X if I'm trying to do that or whatnot. Well, actually, it seems not so bad at all. It doesn't fuck the brightness and whatnot. The autofocus is not as precise and quick and responding. So far, if we're looking at the resolution, the sharpness of things, the coloring, and most important of all, the frames per second, fluidity of movement. What makes it a nice, real, lifelike stream is going to be the color, the resolution, the frames per second, and the sharpness of things. So far, I gotta tell you this right now, I don't need much more than that to know that there's way more potential and possibilities to improve my stream using that not so known nexigo cam. So tell you what, I'm gonna do the necessary to make this be actually my primary cam, because they show me so far that yeah, they do deliver, and they don't just pretend, and they don't use their name and brand to, you know, just take that shit for granted and people are all gonna buy their product. And fuck you, Logitech. I tell you again, fuck you, Logitech. You're my ex, and fuck that. Nexigo, you're next. Stay tuned, everybody. I hope you understood a little something that's good for you, because it's good enough for me. Have a good evening, or day, or night, or whatsoever. I don't give a fuck. You don't give a damn. So have a fucking Satanist. Let's fucking just have a little of our poison if we need to, because we like it. Alright, cheers.